It's strange how the most important moments in life are also the quietest. Not the loud applause or the breakthroughs, but the silent decisions we make when no one's watching. Like the one you make every single morning when your eyes first open. Before your feet touch the floor, before the day really begins, that space between waking and acting is more powerful than most people realize, and most people miss it entirely. They wake up already running, already behind, already responding to the noise, checking notifications, rushing through routines, filling the space with distraction, and then they wonder why their lives feel like a loop, why nothing feels different, why they feel disconnected from meaning. The answer is simple, but it's not easy. It's because they're starting their day out of alignment, out of sync with who they want to become, out of touch with the voice that matters most, their own. You want to change your life? Start with your mornings, not with a new habit tracker or some productivity hack, but with a deep, personal decision. Who do I want to be? Who do I want to become? Not someday, but today. Because the truth is, we become who we practice being, and practice begins the moment you wake up. Not at the gym, not at work, not at the end of the day when you reflect, but right there in that first moment when you choose what kind of energy, what kind of intention, and what kind of identity you're going to carry through the next 24 hours. I've learned this the hard way. There was a time when my mornings were chaotic. I didn't think about meaning. I didn't think about direction. I just got up, grabbed my phone, and let the world dictate my mindset. Some days I felt okay. Other days I felt behind before I even began. And then I'd wonder why my days felt like I was catching up to something invisible. Like I was constantly late to my own life. Then one morning I sat still. I didn't grab the phone. I didn't rush. I just listened, and in the silence I heard something. Not a voice exactly, but a sense. A quiet inner truth that whispered, "This is the moment that will shape everything." And it hit me. The most important work I'll ever do is not in the boardroom, not on the stage, not even with others. It's right here in this quiet place, deciding how I'm going to lead myself. Let me tell you what most people never understand. Leadership is not about confidence. It's about consistency, and consistency is not about never missing a day. It's about choosing alignment, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. It's waking up and choosing not to go back to sleep on your own potential. It's looking in the mirror and asking, am I proud of how I showed up yesterday? And if the answer is no, it's choosing differently today. That kind of honesty, it's rare, and it's uncomfortable, but it's also where freedom begins. You don't need to overhaul your life in one day. You just need to start listening differently, not to the fear, not to the noise, but to the part of you that knows, that always knows, what matters most. And what matters is not perfection. What matters is direction, forward, aligned, awake. So here's the question. What kind of person do you want to be when no one's watching? Because that's the person you're practicing every morning. Every choice you make before the world gets a hold of you, that's a message to your identity. And your identity is the foundation of everything else. It shapes your discipline, your habits, your relationships, your courage, and when you shift your identity, you shift your life. But that shift doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing differently. It comes from saying, today, I lead my energy. I don't chase it. Today, I move from intention, not from pressure. Today, I choose effort even when I don't feel like it, because I know that's where strength is born. Motivation is not what keeps people going. What keeps them going is a vision, a compelling identity they choose to align with over and over until it becomes who they are. And that kind of alignment, it starts in the morning, not in the middle of your day when you're exhausted, not in the evening when you're reflecting on what went wrong. It starts the moment you wake up. So stop waking up like it's an accident, like your life is happening to you. Wake up like it's a responsibility, a gift, a vote for who you are and who you're becoming. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a meaningful one, and meaning is not in what you do. It's in how you do it. Making your bed doesn't change your life, but doing it with intention, doing it because you said you would, because it aligns with who you are becoming, that changes everything. You build trust in yourself not by grand achievements, but by small promises kept. And the most powerful promise is the one you keep with yourself. I will show up every day, not perfectly, but fully. People talk about discipline like it's punishment. But discipline is not what you do to yourself. It's what you do for yourself. It's how you show yourself you matter, that your future matters, that the person you're becoming matters more than your mood. And let's be honest, your mood will not always support your growth. There will be mornings when your mind tries to negotiate. 5 more minutes. We'll start tomorrow. Just today, let's skip it. But you have to learn to lead that voice, not follow it, because if you follow it, you'll build a life that looks okay on the outside but feels empty on the inside. A life filled with convenience but lacking conviction. A life where you're constantly reacting, never creating. So when that voice shows up, and it will look it in the eye and say, not today. Today I lead. Today I rise. Today I become the person I said I'd be. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. And because when you look back on your life, you won't remember the mornings you stayed comfortable. You'll remember the mornings you chose to change. You'll remember the mornings you felt resistance and moved anyway. The mornings you didn't hit snooze. The mornings you stepped into the day not with dread, but with quiet determination, because that's what builds real pride. The kind that doesn't need to be announced. The kind that lives in how you carry yourself. The kind that whispers, I'm becoming someone I respect. Here's what I've learned after watching people for decades. You don't become your best self by wishing for it. You build it, slowly, quietly, on the days when no one's watching, on the mornings when you'd rather not, in the reps that no one counts, in the decisions that seem small but compound into character. And you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop betraying yourself. You need to stop making promises you don't keep. Stop giving energy to things that don't move you forward, and start aligning your actions with your values. Even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it's uncomfortable, because growth begins where comfort ends, and that threshold, the place between your excuses and your effort, is where your future is built. Every morning you stand at that threshold, and every morning you have a choice, comfort or character, comfort or clarity, comfort or courage, and you won't always choose perfectly, but you can always choose again. That's the beauty of a morning. It's a clean slate, a fresh page, a new vote for the person you're becoming. So here's the invitation. Don't just wake up to survive, wake up to create, wake up to align. Wake up to listen to that quiet voice that says, you are not finished. You are still being shaped. You are still becoming. You don't need to wait for the world to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself enough to show up, whether anyone sees it or not. You need to move with integrity, not because it's efficient, but because it's who you are. You need to remind yourself that being great is not about being perfect. It's about being present, accountable, honest. So tomorrow, when your alarm goes off and your mind starts negotiating, take a breath and say, I know who I am, I know what I'm building, and then build it, brick by brick, morning by morning. Decision by decision, because this isn't just a routine, it's a declaration, a quiet but powerful message to yourself. I'm not chasing motivation, I'm creating movement. I'm not waiting for alignment, I'm becoming aligned. I'm not hoping for change, I am change. You don't need a louder life. You need a more intentional one, and it all begins the moment you wake up.